السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما يا رب العالمين. We've reached Hadith number 38 of Imam Nawawwi's Arba'een al-Nawawwi, and in this Hadith the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he is teaching us a very significant lesson. He's teaching us how we can acquire the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How we can get the love and the muhabba of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because in life, our aim and objective should be to gain the muhabba of Allah. We will not go into Jannah because of the amount of deeds that we do, but because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He loves those deeds. Again, we will not go to Jannah because of the quantity of what we do, because of our salah and zakah, but we are doing these good deeds so we can get His muhabba, we can achieve His rahmah. That's what we need to ask. Ya Allah, please accept the actions that I do, because this will be a means of getting Allah's muhabba. So what does the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say? It's a hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, and he begins that قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من عادى لي وليا فقد آذنته بالحرب من عادى لي وليا فقد آذنته بالحرب. That whoever harms a wali of mine, then I have announced a war on that person. Whoever harms a wali of mine. What's a wali? At the time of nikah we hear of the wali, right? A wali, for a girl, a female, it's the closest representative that will only care about her. Her father, her uncle, her brother. And in terms of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, he said that a wali is that individual الَّذِينَ إِذَا رُؤُوا ذُكِرَ اللَّهِ, that when you see he or her, immediately you think of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just by looking at that person, not even talking. Just by looking at that person, you're just reminded of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us like these people. But there are some people in the world that you'll see and they won't even need to say anything. You just look at their behavior and their demeanor and the way they, behave around people, and you'll think that subhanallah, this person, he's got some special connection with Allah. And I remember some of my teachers, subhanallah, that like that, like you would just look at them. You would look at them, this person, he's got some connection with Allah. And just by you being around that person, even though that he didn't have to say a word or anything, you just felt like your iman increased. This is what we call a wali. فَقَدْ آذَنْتُهُ بِالْحَرْبِ. So if you see someone that, this person, he could be close to Allah, let me refrain my tongue from saying anything bad to him, from misusing my tongue, from making false rumors about him or her. And then the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gives us the instruction that you want to become closer to Allah. This is how you do it. It says, وَمَا تَقَرَّبَ إِلَيَّ عَبْدِي بِشَيْءٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا افْتَرَضْتُهُ عَلَيْهِ. If you want to become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is nothing more beloved to Him than those things that He has made farad. There is nothing more beloved to Him than those actions which He has made mandatory and He has made necessary upon you. That is your first and foremost way to become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You become steadfast on your salah, on your sawm, on your zakah. Everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said you must do it. That is your first way of getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, your best way. Thereafter he says that وَلَا يَزَالُ عَبْدِي يَتَقَرَّبُ إِلَيَّ بِالنَّوَافِلِ حَتَّى أُحِبُّ. The next stage, that there's no individual that continues to do nawafil until he becomes closer to me. If you've got your farad under control, next thing you need to do, go to your nawafil. Go to your surplus actions. Go to your obligatory options. Those actions that you don't need to do. Pray those extra 2 rakat salah at night. Do those extra songs. This is the way that you get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thereafter, he says that you'll come, when you do this, you'll come to a stage where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will become one with you. Imagine, you will become one with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will become one with you. How? He says, فَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به وبصره الذي يبصر به ويده التي يبطش بها ورجله التي يمشي بها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will become the ears of that person, how he will hear. He'll become the hands of that person. He'll become the feet of that person. He'll become the eyes of that person. How? The person won't want to listen to haram. He'll have that much love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He won't want to listen to haram. He won't want to see haram. He won't want to walk towards haram. This is the stage that we need to aspire to become. How do we do that? Number 1, let's work on a fara'id first and foremost. Make sure that we're praying salat with jama'ah. Make sure we're praying our prayer on time. Make sure we're doing our zakah. Make sure we're concentrating in our salat. Thereafter, the next stage, let's start with the nawafil. And sometimes, we can get lazy, but let's make a motivation in our life actually. Let me not just do the basics. Let me do more than the basics. Let me do more than the basics. Because in this is where we get closer to Allah. In this is where Allah becomes one with us and we become one with Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the true understanding. Subhanallah wa bihamdik. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.